Article 300.5d of the National Electrical Code, NEC, requires underground cables to be protected from physical damage. Article 680.21b requires satellite and television cables to be secured and protected from damage. Local building codes may also have additional requirements for underground cable protection. Exposed cables create a tripping hazard. They can be damaged by lawnmowers, vehicles, or other objects. They can conduct electricity and pose a shock hazard, especially if they come into contact with water. Burying cables improves safety by eliminating tripping hazards and reducing the risk of damage. It enhances aesthetics by hiding the cables from view. Burying increases durability and longevity as the cables are protected from weather and physical impacts. The satellite installer's suggestion to bury the cables is prudent and should be followed. It is essential to ensure the cables are adequately protected from physical damage and potential safety hazards. Adding a specific requirement to the code for burying satellite cables may not be necessary since the existing provisions in the NEC and local building codes already address the issue. However, clarifying the intent and emphasizing the importance of cable protection could be beneficial. The NEC provides specific guidelines for burying electrical cables to ensure safety and prevent damage. These guidelines vary depending on the voltage of the cable, the type of cable, and the location where it is being buried. Firstly, the depth at which a cable must be buried is determined by its voltage and type. For example, direct burial cables operating at 600 volts or less typically need to be buried at a depth of at least 12 inches. However, if the cable is encased in concrete, the required depth may be reduced. Secondly, the type of cable also influences the burial depth. Rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, or Schedule 80 polyvinyl chloride conduit provide more protection, allowing for shallow burial depths in some cases. Thirdly, the location of the burial is another critical factor. Cables buried under driveways or areas subject to vehicular traffic usually require deeper burial to withstand the increased load and prevent damage. Fourthly, the NEC mandates that underground cables be protected from physical damage. This can be achieved by using conduits, encasing the cables in concrete, or using direct burial cables specifically designed for underground use. Fifthly, when multiple cables are buried in the same trench, adequate spacing must be maintained between them to prevent overheating and ensure proper heat dissipation. Sixthly, before burying any cable, it is essential to check for the presence of other underground utilities, such as gas lines, water pipes, and other electrical cables. This can be done by contacting the local utility companies or using a cable locator. Seventhly, the NEC requires that all underground cables be properly grounded to protect against electrical shock. The grounding method depends on the type of cable and the specific application. Eighthly, direct burial cables must be suitable for direct contact with the earth. They should be resistant to moisture, chemicals, and other environmental factors that could cause corrosion or degradation. Ninthly, the NEC specifies the types of wiring methods that are acceptable for underground installations. These include direct burial cables, rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, rigid polyvinyl chloride conduit, and electrical metallic tubing. Lastly, it is crucial to follow all applicable local codes and regulations in addition to the NEC requirements. Local codes may have more stringent requirements or specific provisions that must be followed. It is important to note that the NEC is a comprehensive document, and it is recommended to consult the latest edition for the most accurate and up-to-date information. Additionally, it is advisable to hire a qualified electrician to perform any electrical work, including cable burial, to ensure that it is done safely and in compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Failure to comply with the NEC and local codes can result in fines, penalties, and potential safety hazards. Proper cable burial is essential for maintaining the integrity and reliability of electrical systems, as well as protecting people and property from electrical hazards.